Today we're turning these pretzel buns into pizza pretzel bites. Let's do it. All right, we're starting with 2 packages of pretzel buns. These are just the King's Hawaiian ones. They're my kids' favorites. Just pop them out of these packages. So we've got our 2 packages of pretzel buns here. We're gonna go ahead and start cutting them into bite-sized pieces. They don't have to be perfect. So these look pretty good to go. I'm gonna hand tear a couple of these pieces that didn't quite get my knife, just so there's not any big chunks. And then we're gonna transfer these into a bowl. Perfect. All right, we're gonna take our bread and set it aside and make our garlic herb butter next. Okay, we have 3/4 of a cup of melted butter in a measuring cup. And to this, we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of oregano. I love oregano. The original recipe called for only 1/2 teaspoon of garlic, but there's no way. So I'm gonna use a whole teaspoon of garlic powder, maybe a little bit more. Typically I would add salt to this, but I use salted butter, plus there's salt on the buns, salt in the cheese, and salt in the pepperoni, so I'm not gonna add any more salt to this mixture, but I am gonna brighten it and make it really pretty with a handful of chopped parsley. Okay, go ahead and stir this around. Final touch to this garlic herb butter is Parmesan cheese. You're gonna wanna use the grated Parmesan cheese, not the shredded, just because it helps kind of thicken up this butter and stick to those buns. Okay, so this looks great and it smells great. We're gonna pour it over that bread. So now you're gonna go ahead and stir this up really well. Make sure that butter gets all over all of those pieces of bread. It smells like garlic knots. You get it like your neighborhood pizza joint. It smells so good. Okay, next up, we're gonna add pepperoni and cheese because it wouldn't be pizza without those 2 things. Okay, so you could totally chop up your own pepperoni, but I found these little minis at the store and I thought they were perfect for what we were making. We're gonna add this whole bag. It's about 5 ounces of pepperoni. And then we're gonna add cheese, of course, mozzarella cheese. We're gonna add 1 whole bag of cheese. Now we mix. So these would be fantastic for a party. You could put them in mini muffin tins if you wanted to. If you wanted them to be like little bite-sized appetizers, that'd be great. I'm actually gonna make these as a meal prep for my kids for their lunches for the week. Serve it with a little side of marinara in their lunch. They can dip and eat. It's perfect. All right, this is all super well incorporated. That cheese and pepperoni is mixed in with all of those bits of bread, and the bread has started to really soak up that butter, so it's gonna be perfect for when we put these in the muffin tins to bake. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this aside, grab our muffin tins. So normally I'd say you have to butter or oil your muffin tins, but because there's so much butter in this bread already, I don't think we're gonna need it. So you're gonna get a scooper and you're gonna start to scoop some into your hand, and then you're gonna mold it into a ball before you place it into each of these muffin tins, just kind of squeezing it all together so that cheese gets nice and melty on the inside. You could do this with the kids too. I'm sure they'd have a blast. Perfect, just like that. And set it right into a muffin tin. Somehow, even though I'm using a scooper, they're progressively getting larger as I go. Does that happen to you guys? You start with such cute cookies and then the end cookie is some gargantuan size. That's what's happening with these pizza bites right now. All right, these are ready to go in the oven at 350 for 20 to 25 minutes, just until that cheese gets nice and ooey gooey. All right, these are out of the oven. Holy cow, it smells good in here. The pepperoni's nicely browned and golden on the top. The cheese is all melty. It smells like garlic. I'm so excited to try them. So we've got a little bit of just some marinara sauce in a little cup on the side, because of course it wouldn't be pizza without some marinara sauce. You could also do Alfredo sauce if that's what your kids like, ranch dressing, whatever your heart desires. So let's go ahead and get one out of here. I also had a bit of an epiphany while these were cooking in the oven, and I was thinking, what else could we do with this same recipe? What if you did ham and Swiss cheese, or turkey and shredded pepper jack, or even made these into a breakfast item with some egg and bacon and sausage inside of them with cheddar cheese. These have so many different ways you could possibly make them. They're super easy. And if they taste as good as they smell, we're making these again. All right, let's try it. Well, based on the size of that bite, I hope you know how delicious these are. It's like a garlic knot mixed with pepperoni pizza. So good.